I'd like to call this regular city council meeting of January 26, 2015 to order. We would like to start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Were we making sure all our ringers were on?
I said I wasn't going to comment.
I'm working on mine. I'm glad it wasn't mine.
Thing is, it's an 800 number.
I'm glad it was. I'm working on mine. I'm glad it wasn't mine. Oh, that's funny.
And it's an 800 number to boot. Okay. Roll call shows that all are here except for our city manager, Lynn Ladner, who is out due to illness. And then we have the approval of the minutes from January 12th meeting.
The bottom of page 2, the last line, it should be defer, not deter. I'll move the minutes with that amendment.
Also, go ahead.
Okay, for discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We do not have bills to approve tonight.
I can't throw that away.
It usually happens on the first meeting of the month. Approval of the agenda, any additions or deletions? Anybody have anything?
Didn't delete anything.
We do anything, we just move on.
And we adjourn.
All right, let's move the agenda.
I'll support that. Oh, Beverly's talking again. Give that to her.
Okay. For discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Public comments. Anybody wishes to speak on any item not listed on the agenda? State your
Which is
name and address, please.
Ryan Lair, 716 Grand Court. I'm actually here to give a special gift to the Chief of Police and acknowledge our wonderful police department for all that they do. Matter of fact, my neighbor just complimented me on the fact that Officer Rapp came out and helped her fix her child seats because the children had grown and didn't realize they were in the wrong position. He came over and fixed them and spent over an hour with her explaining to her how to make sure that as they grow, how you hook them up in the seats. I think that's a great thing that he did. Even though it's his job, it's the officers in this town. I think that officers have been getting a kind of a bad rap lately and just all over the country and for things that they shouldn't be doing or whatever. And I just think that all of the officers in our town are wonderful officers. They're caring, they're wonderful, they're never nasty, they're never rude. And I think that's a tribute to the police chief, who runs a great department. So if you can come up, I'd like to present you with this. And I had this done at Walmart today, so this was, here you go.
Well, let's show everybody what we have here. Very nice. It's a replica. Looks like our station wall of the police department seal. The department motto: safeguarding our community.
Yep.
And the mission statement of the police department.
And your desk clerk, Chris, helped me with it. So
And
she should
because-
get the recognition.
Because it's brief, I'll read the mission statement. The mission of the South Lyon Police Department is to efficiently provide quality police service to our community by promoting a safe environment through a police-citizen partnership with an emphasis on mutual trust, integrity, fairness, and professionalism.
And that, I believe, you represent.
I must admit this comes as a total surprise, but I appreciate it, and it will have a prominent place in either my office or the station.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Put it on the wall under the other one.
Good evening. Carl Richards, 390 Lennox. I have a bunch of things to say, but it'll take longer than 2 minutes, so I'll just limit to one little item here. For the benefit of everyone who might not know, and I was one of them until just a couple hours ago, the white ribbons that are around some lamp posts downtown and over telephone poles across the street even, and various places are in honor or memory of the family that died in the automobile accident last week out by Kent Lake Schools, which I didn't know much about then. Some people I've mentioned didn't know anything about it. But I didn't know about it until just an hour or so ago. So I'm just letting you know that's what those ribbons are for on various places around town. Thank you.
Thanks, Carl.
Thanks.
Anybody else wish to speak? Okay, we'll move on to old business. We don't have any. And we have new business, which is safe routes to school expenditure and resolutions. Actually, from what I understand of this, because we did have a class on this up in Marquette when I went, you have to expend some money to get some money, and this is looks like a joint venture between the schools, Lyon Township, and the city to put themselves in position to get a grant for safe routes to schools. Where that entails, sometimes it entails in sidewalks. Sometimes it means a light goes up somewhere. This kind of thing. We're not sure exactly the total amount of money that's going to be needed to. I don't know how we fix the problem at the Four Corners there. It's just a very busy area. As you know, we had new lights hung there and so forth. It kind of mixed people up for a while, but it made them think and look a little harder too, I think. So maybe it's been a little safer since that's happened. But I don't know. I can throw anybody out for discussion here. Does anybody else have anything they want to ask about it?
Yeah, I do. I was just kind of curious, does the state establish the parameters of how the thing runs? You know, what actual physical transition takes place, what's allowed?
Well, you
that
have to present your plan, and then
we create the plan and then they approve it?
There's a number of steps you have to go through, and part of it, which is not covered by the grant fund, is the preliminary engineering, and there's actually.
I read that, but
yeah,
there's
but there's
little in here.
No, I went on the website. There's actually a website for this program. It lists what you can use the money for, what you can't use the money for. It explains that a lot of the funding is not, like the preliminary engineering and all this stuff is not covered by the funding, so that's part of the plan.
Right.
And there's a whole process you have to
Most
go
part grant,
through.
yeah.
So, because I had the same questions. I was trying to figure out what it's for and what it entails.
Well, I was just hoping that, this thing outlines that the township will be overseeing the thing, which is fine with me. I mean, let them, if they want to manage that, that's fine. I just would like to know that everything is established and they simply make sure that that program is fulfilled rather than, having somebody individually deciding what kind of activities will take place.
Do you have something you want to incorporate?
Yeah, I did.
Name your address and your name, please.
I'm Tracy Hill. I live on Lyon Street, where the problem is. Ted, it was slightly wrong about where this problem actually is. It isn't at the Four Corners. It's actually
Leading up to it.
where the old crossing was by Tuffy's, which
Right.
they've now removed. So that is actually the area of concern. It's not where the Four Crossings are.
Well, it's
Yeah,
for
it's further on.
the general safe crossing, so irrespective of where it's at, so.
Yeah, well, so I started this about 4 years ago, and I've met with Lyon Township, I've met with loads and loads of people. There's funding for the Safe Routes to School, and what they're trying to get funding for is because what happens is the children cross the road behind Millennium, cross over by Big Crossie and cross Pontiac Trail down there. They don't go all the way down to 9 Mile. So that's where they're trying to improve the crossing. There's also no sidewalks in that area at all for the children. And that's, the route to school just isn't safe at all. So I think what they're trying to do is by them giving some, the area's owned by Lyon Township, South Lyon and Oakland County. They all have an interest in it. And by them putting forward some money, there's a huge grant available to make the route safe for the children. I think when the area was built, there wasn't 3 schools in that area. And those children from that area walked down there, and we live down there.
And half as many cars driving through there, too.
Well, there's buses. All the buses come down, and there's no sidewalks, and the roads aren't salted, and they run across the road.
You
And
know, if the Lyon Township's planning on doing an assessment to make you put sidewalks in?
I had Lynn Ledner and a few other people actually, and the sheriff came and walked with us on the actual route. They saw all the areas of concern. Lanny Young was driving around with Oakland County, and they saw all the areas of what the actual issues are and what the actual problems are. It just isn't safe. And so that's kind of what they're looking at now. So they actually want to put the crossing down, further down where, where Marjorie Ann is. So that's, because between 9 Mile and Wendy's, there's no crossing across Pontiac Trail at all. There's nothing. And if you live kind of slap bang in the middle, if you're a kid and a teenager who think they're invincible, they won't walk till 9 Mile and they won't walk all the way down to Wendy's. They generally will just run across the road.
Well, I mean, that won't change simply because we put a fancy crossing in, so I'm hoping there's some aspect of this is for education of parents and kids to understand that you need to go where the safe crossings are. We spent money on putting this fancy lighting system across from Centennial, and kids would just kind of cross the street any place they felt like, so.
I agree with you 100%. And I think part of the whole, because I originally met with someone from Lyon Township quite a while, about 2-3 years ago, and part of it is education for the children, education for the parents, and obviously that's up to parents. But the fact that there's that huge distance with no crossing is a problem. And we've all seen kids running across in the morning when it's dark and it's icy, and they do it.
Well, this is a good first step, but I sure hope that we get a great deal more information on exactly how this thing rolls out rather than just kind of approve $30,000 worth of investment into hoping we can get more money.
Well, that's exactly what it is.
Well, I know, but we need to be able to make an educated assessment of whether we're spending money properly rather than just being hopeful.
Well, again, if that crossing part is more to it than just that crossing.
Yeah,
As I said, the township, you folks over on that side of the road, you don't have sidewalks. And yeah, and you know what's been happening. You're literally walking in the streets when the snow, luckily this year not much snow, but when it's piled up there, kids aren't walking, they're out in the road. And to lead up to a safe crosswalk, I mean, I think your township's gonna have to assess where they need some sidewalks, and they may have to assess the owners of the properties to share costs or something. But I'm not gonna dictate that, you know. It's just seems to me there's more to this than just this crossing.
I think one of my concerns is not us spending money on them doing improvements through this program. You know, the improvements should be, I mean, we've already addressed the sidewalk issue for safe passage of kids once they're on one side of the road or the other. It's getting across the road is our principal concern, and lighting perhaps, you know, and notice for drivers. But the idea of, you know, us buying into this program to get a better deal for Lyon Township residents to get sidewalks on their street
Exactly,
is
that's what
gonna
I'm
be a
saying, I
concern
don't
for
think
me.
I wanna be part of that.
Well, the application process is kind of set out on the website saferoutesmichigan.org. It explains the entire application process, what needs to take place, what's covered, what's not covered, what improvements would be covered, what improvements would not be covered.
And the process of how you get
Yeah,
there?
and the
Okay, great.
process, it explains it all.
Thank you.
I don't have any problem putting $10,000 into this initially, but the question I have is, okay, how are we gonna be updated on it? The steps that are being taken, the ideas that they're coming up with, and how they're gonna use the funding if they get it.
And is the money do we approve when some of that money is spent? Like, is there notice to spend it, like?
It kind of sounds like Lynn will be our point person
Right.
in this, but, you know, and I'm sure she'll keep us abreast of what's going on, but it'd be like, nice to have some input in it as it's going, rather than they come up with a plan, and then we'd say yes or no at the end of that.
Well, the resolution that's attached here, the final resolve, is that the township will maintain an account of services and expenditures charged to the fund, copies of which shall be provided monthly to the city of South Lyon and the South Lyon Community Schools. So we'll have notice. I'm not so sure. The notice might be that the money's been spent.
Well, that was actually what I was
Not prior,
reading
shall we
too.
spend?
Yeah.
And that's a little bit of a concern to me.
I'm hoping that that's simply that they've paid the bills that we've already approved as for actions to be taken, so.
Well, I mean, we can do the initial 10, and then if they come back for more, then I guess we would have to see what we're getting for, I mean, getting for the money. I mean, you're right. I mean, I don't want to be in a situation where we're funding projects that we're really not responsible for.
Right. I was heartened to see the school buy into this third too, so that was nice.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Joe?
Yeah, I feel really comfortable with this proposal. I mean, putting the initial money down, I think, is good, especially if we're going to have the schools in Lyon Township put money in. It goes to show that we're all interested in
Safety.
in the safety, absolutely. So I'd like to make the motion to approve the proposed resolution and expenditure of $10,000 for safe routes to school.
I'll second.
And now further discussion. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. We'll jump to council comments. Bev?
I just wish Lynn best wishes and hope she'll be back with us soon.
Okay. Mike?
I agree, and I have nothing else.
Okay, Harvey.
Same with me.
Glenn?
Yeah, I'm hoping everything goes well with Lynn. She's up and about quickly, and I hope that we don't catch any of this big storm going on the east. So,
Me too.
Me too.
We're not supposed to.
Yeah, yep. Is that your comments?
No, we're not supposed to catch that. Actually,
I hope you're right.
actually, I'll just ditto that Lynn does well.
Okay, Joe?
I'm all set, thank you.
All right. I have a work assignment coming up. I'll be missing a couple meetings. So Joe will be stepping in as Mayor Pro Tem to run those meetings in the month of February. Okay? All in favor, say aye.
For what?
For adjournment?
Adjourn.
I adjourn. I'll just adjourn it. How's that?
That's what you should do.
Thanks.
All right. We're done with the 18-minute meeting.